Hello students, once again welcome back to the lecture of data structure. Today we'll start with the unit number 1 of data structure subject, that is introduction to data structure. The content of today's lecture is introduction of data structure, types of data structure, real-time application of various data structures, introduction of algorithm, analysis terms, asymptotic notation, and array. Introduction of data structure. Data it is a raw fact. If we say a number, then the number doesn't have a specific meaning. But instead of that, if we say an enrollment number, then anybody can come to know that it is a unique identifier which is used to identify the student. Similarly, information. Information is a processed data. When we process a specific data, then that data becomes the information. Data structure. It is an organization of data in logical or mathematical model. Now we discuss about the requirement of the data structure. It is used to access the data in easy and efficient manner. It is used to make the processing of the data easy. It is used to reduce the less logical instructions while making different type of applications. We cannot imagine the concept of database without implementing the concept of data structure, because as we know, our database is a collection of multiple relational tables, and a table is a collection of records. And so far as our knowledge, a record is a collection of different types of attributes. Those attributes may have different types of data type. To implement a database structure, we need to learn a data structure. Here is the types of data structure. Data structure can be divided into two types, that is primitive data structure and non-primitive data structure. Primitive data structure contains integer, real, character, logical, and pointer kind of data structure, whereas non-primitive data structure is further divided into two categories, that is linear data structure and non-linear data structures, depends upon its representation. Linear data structure contains array, stack, queue, and linked list, because the representations are in a linear fashion, whereas non-linear data structure, in non-linear data structure, it contains tree and graph. Primitive data structure means it's a basic form of data structure which are operated by machines directly. It's a basic or system defined data structure or data type like integer, float, character, double. Similarly, non-primitive data structure means they are derived from the primitive data structure and they cannot be operated by the machines directly. It uses the primitive data structure to build, for example, class and data structure. Linear data structure. Data items are stored in a linear sequence, that is why it is known as linear data structure. In non-linear data structure, data items are not stored in a linear sequence. Homogeneous data structure. All the elements of same data type is stored in homogeneous data structure. In non-homogeneous data structure, all the elements may or may not be of same type. The example of it is records. Static data structure. If the size and structure associated memory is fixed while compilation, then it is known as static data structure. An example of static data structure is array. Dynamic data structure. In such kind of data structure, expansion and shrinks are possible at runtime and associated memory location won't be fixed. The example of dynamic data structure is linked list. Real-time application of data structure. Array is used to store the data in main memory while execution of a program. Main memory can be considered as an array. Stack is used to store the return address while making function calls in a program. Stack can be used for the evaluation of equations like infix, prefix, and postfix. Queue is used to make the list of processes which are in ready queue of a system. Linked list is used for managing process control blocks of each process and used in disk allocation or access method in disk management. Tree can be used for representing directory structure in a file system. Graph can be used for generating a routing table in network while packets are transmitted among multiple routing devices. The next topic is an algorithm. Algorithm, the name is derived from the name of 19th century scholar Abu Jafar Muhammad ibn Musa al-Khwarizmi. It's a set of well-defined rules for carrying calculations. It's a step-by-step procedure. It's a sequence of computational steps that transforms input to output. It's a sequence of operation performed on input. Properties of an algorithm. Number of quantities are provided to algorithm before it starts. The rules of processing must be precise and unambiguous. Instruction must be simple enough to be calculated by paperwork. Time to execute algorithm must be finite. Total repetition must be finite. It must have one or more output. It must have zero or more input, or it must have one or more output. It must be executed without any ambiguity. It must solve the problem in finite time, and it must be terminated after the finite steps. Features of an algorithm. Algorithm must have a valid name identifier, and it should be probably written in capital letters. Algorithm contains steps, that is a collection of steps with description enclosed in each step. Algorithm contains assignment, that indicates the assignment operation from right to left. It contains conditional statements that represents the decisive logic of the algorithm. Repeat statement that represents the repetitive statements. Go to statements that represents the branching or transfer instructions. Exit statement that indicates the termination of algorithm. Next concept is the analysis terms. Algorithm can be analyzed in terms of complexity. The complexity means it's a function to describe the efficiency of algorithm in terms of space and time it takes during the execution. Time complexity. It is a time required by the program to execute, which includes memory access time, comparison time, and loop execution time. Number of steps to be carried out in a function while execution is known as the time complexity of function. Initially, it depends on size of function, but after execution, we can say it depends upon the logic of the function. Space complexity. Memory space required by the program at a time of execution, which includes the part of main memory, because as we know, when we execute a source code, that source code needs to be moved from secondary memory to main memory. And at a time of swapping, the size of program may get shrinked or it may get expanded. It's a memory space required by the CPU to execute a particular function is called space complexity of a function. It depends on number of variables, resources, memory jump instructions used in a function. Big O notation. That is a special notation for representing the complexity of algorithm called Big O notation. It's a formal method of expressing the maximum running time of an algorithm. There are three categories of complexities. Best case complexity. If the algorithm takes minimum execution time, then we can say it is having the best case time complexity. And that is possible if the algorithm contains the minimum comparison statements. Average case complexity. If the algorithm takes not too much or not less execution time, then we can say it has the average time complexity. And that is possible if it contains the average comparison statements. Worst case time complexity. If the algorithm takes too much time for execution, then we can say it has the worst case time complexity. And that is possible if the algorithm or function contains the maximum comparison statements. Array. Array is a group of elements having the same data type. It shares the common name. The size of array must be declared at before execution of program. Elements can be accessed using the index value called subscript number. It always starts with index 0 and ends at index size -1. Size of array cannot be changed at runtime. Characteristics of array. It has number of memory locations called element equivalent to its size. If we are creating an array of integer, then we can say that the size of each element will be of 2 bytes. Again, it depends upon the compiler. Each element occupies same size as per the data type of array. The difference between the address of two consecutive elements of array equivalent to the size of its data type. It means if we are having an integer array of 5 elements, then the address difference between the first element and the second element will be of 2 bytes. In array, elements are stored in a linear fashion. Searching and sorting operations are quite faster, whereas insertion and deletion operations are slower because elements are arranged in linear fashion. And we need to make space to perform insertion and deletion operation. That is why it takes more time. When array is declared, all the element contains the garbage value. But if we declared an array as static, then all the elements are initialized with 0. Representation of array. There are different types of array available in C programming: one-dimensional, two-dimensional, and multidimensional. Representation of data structure in memory of computer is called storage structure. One-dimensional array A of size 6 can be represented as below. As you can see over here, in computer's memory it can be represented like this. This is the name of array. Index value starts with 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. The last index will be the size -1. So 6 minus 1, it will be 5. And if we want to access each elements of array, then we can access them using A of 0, A of 1, A of 2 likewise. Two-dimensional array can be represented in form of rows and columns. two-dimensional array B with 3 rows and 3 columns can be represented as below. Here you can see the row, column 0, column 1 and column 2. Here you can see row 0, row 1 and row 2. Two-dimensional array can be represented in two ways. In a computer's memory, it can be stored in two different orders. They are row measure order and column measure order. In row measure ordering, elements are stored row-wise in linear fashion. Elements are arranged as below in row measure ordering. As you can see over here, I am having a two-dimensional array of 3 rows and 3 columns. The first element means the value written before the comma represents the value stored at that memory location, and the value written after the comma that represents the location. If I store this memory in row measure ordering, then it can be stored like this. All the elements of array are stored row wise. So as you can see, if I take the first row, I am having 5, 9 and 2. 5, 9 and 2. If I take the second row, I can have 7, 3 and 6. 7, 3 and 6. If I take the third row, I can have 1, 4 and 8. The equation to find out the address of Bij in m rows and n column containing array is as below. B of ij is equals to L0. L0 represents the base address of array, that is the starting address of an array, or you can say the address of first element of an array. So B of I0 is equals to L0 plus I minus 1 into n represents the column plus j minus 1. For example, if I would like to calculate the address of B13, B13 stores value 2, then it can be calculated using this formula, that L0 plus 1 minus 1, 1 is the row value, I value, and 3 is the column value. Here this 3 represents the total number of columns available in the array. So if I calculate using this equation, if I calculate the address of B13 using this equation, then I can get B13 is stored at L0 plus 2 location. So here you can see L0 is an address of element 5, and from this address if I move 2 elements 1 and 2, then I can have the address of B13, as you can see over here. Similarly, if I would like to calculate the address of B31, then I can apply the same formula, and I am having L0 plus 6. That is B31 represents the element 1. So if I move 6 positions from L0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, then I can have the element B31 in row measure ordering. So this is what the equation for calculating the address of specific element in row measure ordering. Similarly, here we are having the column measure ordering. In column measure ordering, the elements are arranged column wise in linear fashion. The elements are stored as below. As you can see, I have taken the same array, but the storage structure will be little bit different. Instead of storing the array elements row wise, now in column measure ordering, all the elements are stored in column wise. So if I take first column, then I can have 5, 7 and 1, 5, 7, 1. If I take the second column, then I can have 9, 3, 4, 9, 3, 4. If I take third column, then I can have 2, 6 and 8, 2, 6 and 8. The equation to find out the address of Bij in m rows and n columns containing array is as below. B of ij is equals to L0. Again, L0 is the base address, or you can say the starting address of your array, or you can say the address of first element in the array, plus j minus 1 into m. M stands for number of rows, plus I minus 1. For example, if I would like to find out the address of B23 in column measure ordering, then I can calculate it like this, and the address of B23 is L0 plus 7. It says that if I move 7 memory spaces from base address, then I can have B23. So let's check it out. This is my L0. Let us move 7 position 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Yes, it is B23 and it contains 6. Similarly, if I would like to calculate the address of B12, then I can apply the same formula and I will get L0 plus 3. That means if I move 3 positions from the base address, then I can get B12. Let's check it out. This is L0, 1, 2 and 3. This is my B12 and it contains value 9. Fine. This is what the representation of array, row measure ordering and column measure ordering. Next concept is array operations. Array supports the following operations, that is traversal of array, insertion in array, deletion from the array, merging of arrays, searching in the array and sorting the array. Traversal of array, it is the process of visiting each elements of array. Here is the algorithm for traversing an array. For that we require 2 parameters, array as well as the size of array. First of all, we need to initialize I with 0. Then we need to visit each and every element, and for that I need to apply while loop while I less than the size of array. Process the array till the end. In this procedure, in this step, we can print the elements also. At the same time, we need to read the next element by incrementing I. So I is equal to I plus 1, and we need to repeat this procedure until we reach to the last element, and at the end the algorithm will get finished. The next operation is insertion operation. Now insertion is quite complex in array because we need to make space for the new element, and due to that reason we need to make space from the last element. We need to move the element from last position till the position to be inserted. Insertion in array is a process of inserting new element in specified position. We need to make space for new element from last. It requires 4 parameters: array, size of array, new element to be inserted, and the position at which we would like to insert a new element. For that we need to initialize I pointer. We need to set our I pointer to the last element, that is n minus 1. Shift the elements in the next position to make space for new element and continue process till we reach to position. We need to make space for the new element, and for that we need to shift the last element to the next element and continue the same procedure until we reach to the position. For that I will repeat till I is greater than P. A of I plus 1 is equals to A of I when I will be decremented by 1. If I reach to the position, I have to set the new value to that position. Then of course at this step we have added one new element to existing array, so I need to increment the size of array. That is why I will increment n is equals to n plus 1 and the end of algorithm. So this is how you can insert a new element in the existing array. Next operation is deletion from array. Now in deletion process we don't need to make an additional space, but rather we need to overwrite the element from that particular position. So deletion is a process of removing element from specified position. For that we require to overwrite the element of specified position with the next element and continue the process till the end. For delete operation we require 3 parameters: array, size of array and position from where we would like to remove the element. In the first step, we'll set our I pointer to the position. We will override the current element with the next element and continue this process till the end. And for that, I need to repeat while I less than n. A of I is equals to A of I plus 1, means the next element will be, the current element will be replaced by the next element, and I will increment the value of I. I will scan the next element. Now in this algorithm we are removing the element from existing array, so I need to decrease the size of array, and that I can do with the help of n equals to n minus 1, and that's it for the deletion from the array. Next operation is merging of array. Now merging means it's a process of combining two array into one. If we would like to perform this operation, then we make sure that we are having the enough memory space in the resultant array so that it can accommodate all the elements of both the arrays. Merging is a process of appending one array at the end of other. We must have enough space in resultant array to accommodate both the array elements. Here is the algorithm for that. Merge A array 1, size of array 1, B second array, size of second array. Here n1 is the resultant array in which we are going to append the second array, and the n1 must be greater than n2. Rather, it should be n1 equals to n1 plus n2. In the first step, we'll initialize I to n1 and j to 0. Append elements in array A till the last element of array B. For that, I will repeat till I reach to the size of array B. My j will reach to the end of array B. I will assign A of I equals to B of j and increment both the pointers at the same time, I as well as j by 1. Now I will increment the size of resultant array because now it contains the combination of two arrays, so n1 equals to n1 plus n2, and at the end the algorithm gets finished. Next operation is searching. Searching is a process of finding a particular element in the array. We have to look for the element in the array by comparing each elements of it while traversing. Sorting of array elements. It's a process of arranging elements of array in ascending or descending orders. We have already explained the concept of searching and sorting in our next video lecture. Thanks for watching it. Thank you.